time management. Time management. This has to deal with putting everything together. How do you actually write now? Now that you have the skills, you're writing your sentences fine, what should you actually do? So you'll notice here it says approach number 1. Well, there's going to be a couple of approaches here. How to write an essay that's best for you. So let's go through this approach and let's see if this will maybe help you out. First off, the most important thing, brainstorm and outline. This is so important. Do not just write. Do not just write. I'm going to actually write that down because it's so important. That is, do not read the prompt and say, oh, I get it. I'm going to write, type, because I only have half an hour. That will make you go down into the deep, dark woods. You're going to get lost. You're going to lose all logical flow. You're going to start repeating yourself, and you will break down, or at least your essay will break down, and you'll probably not even get a 4. So be careful. Why? Because brainstorming and outline helps plan your attack, where you're going to go, the ideas that you're going to come up with. And that's why allocating 3 minutes to it isn't a waste of time, because once you have an idea, once you've mapped out what's going on, then the writing is going to flow out that much more smoothly. So this is the very first thing, fundamental, brainstorm and outline. Then start with thesis statement. Again, thesis statement is your main idea. What are you going to try to prove in your essay, your main idea or your main point? What are you going to try to prove? Write it out. And then, here's the big thing, write the body and examples of your essay. So, why? Why what? Well, I skipped the intro. If you notice, I said just write a thesis statement. I didn't even say write the intro. And some of you may be balking, thinking, no, you have to write the intro. The intro is so important. But there's something that I call the perfect word syndrome. And many of us have suffered from this before. And the idea is, I'm going to write something, I'm going to sound very grand and important in those first couple sentences, and I need to find that right word. No, that's not it. I'm going to go back. No, I can say it like this. And guess what? 10 minutes go by and you're still trying to write the perfect introduction. 10 minutes wasted. So skip the introduction from the beginning and just start with the thesis and go straight into the most important part, which is the body and the examples. That's what's going to back up your points here. And this is going to take 20 minutes because, again, this is really where you get to shine here, because they're looking for analysis. They're looking for your ability to persuade them through your analysis. And that's all happening right here. Finally, conclusion. It's minimal. It's not important. You're restating what you've already said before in your intro. Well, in this case, you haven't even had an intro yet, but the point is, when you write your conclusion, you can use your thesis statement here and simply reword it. Simply reword your thesis statement. Your conclusion does not have to be long. Reword. Maybe add one parting thought at the end. 2-sentence conclusions are perfect. Even a 1-sentence conclusion is fine. And then writing that intro, that first sentence or 2, becomes easy because you've written everything else. There's no pressure. You've done all your persuading here. You've done a good job. And that's approach number 1, which I recommend for a lot of you. If this rang a bell, if I said perfect word syndrome and you said, oh yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, then this approach is for you. However, you may say, wait a second, edit. Very important to edit and spend 2 minutes on editing. That is what's very important because, as we talked about with grammar before, you do not want to make grammatical mistakes or even worse yet, spelling mistakes. And that's why spend 2 minutes making sure everything matches up and making sure that there's no small mistakes. And that's approach number 1. And finally, the last approach we have here is very similar and is probably the commonsensical approach for many of you, but is it the approach that works? Well, you'll be able to answer that yourself. The key here is, again, no matter what, always do this first. But in this case, you can write your intro and thesis statement as you would normally. If you have no problem in doing this, you can usually get to the point after you've brainstormed an outline. That is, you can get to the body. Then writing approach 2 or taking this approach is perfect, because I do not want to change the way you do something if you have no problems doing it. So if you're comfortable writing an intro and thesis statement, you can do it in 3 minutes, then great. Then follow, as we did in approach number 1, writing with the body and example, spend 20 minutes there. Write your conclusion, spend 2 minutes there. Again, not the most important part. And just as important as spending time on your essay, you want to spend time, of course, editing your essay. And spend a couple of minutes there. And that is going to help you create an essay that will bring out your greatest potential.